everyone! Welcome to the second video in my Trial of Ascension series covering the bosses for this rotation reset of Trial of Ascension. In this episode we are covering level 70, so I'm going to go ahead and play the clip and I will get into my strategy. Okay, so some important abilities to note that the enemies have are the Taoists have a passive where if one of their allies takes a killing blow, the Taoist will transfer 30% of its HP to the ally to prevent it from dying, and this passive will continue to trigger until the Taoist is below 30% HP, and if the Taoist heals up above 30%, then the passive continues to trigger. The Pernas have two important abilities to note, and those two abilities are two passives. The first passive being that the Pernas will heal their allies for 10% of their HP every turn. Even if the Pernas are stunned, there's no way to prevent this besides an attack bar reset, so it's still going to go off if they're stunned. And I think, as we all know, the Pernas will res once they die, and they'll res to full health. So basically you have to kill them twice and before they're actually dead. And this skill has a 12-turn cooldown, so it will trigger again if you don't kill them within 12 turns. And the Veromos doesn't have any special skills, but it is important to note what debuffs you're putting on Veromos, and you have to realize that putting the attack debuff on him won't actually reduce any damage he does, because his first skill scales off speed, and the second scales off HP. So, glancing will affect him, and decelerate will. Decelerate will only affect his first skill. So my strategy for this one is to go for the Taoists first, simply because they're easier to kill, because two of my units are wind units, and they're not going to have a good time against Pernas. So I go for the Taoists, and thankfully the first one died to a dot, and the other one's passive didn't trigger, because it only triggers if you deal a killing blow, and they don't die to like a dot or something. Like, a dot doesn't really count. So that was pretty nice. Even if his passive did trigger, it's not the biggest deal, because the right one would just kind of be dying more. And my team, as you can see, is doing just fine. They're surviving and they're staying buffed up. So that's a good thing. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the clip so we can kind of get through this, because I pretty much already said my whole strategy here. Okay, we're going faster now. So I pretty much just work on them. The Pernas take a while, but it's not that big of a deal. Just kind of get through it, you know. And Veromos isn't too much of a threat either. One other thing I wanted to go over is some small improvements that I'm making to improve my Trial of Ascension team. So I realized that this reset was a lot easier than last reset, simply because of some things that I upgraded, right? So I made Shannon level 40, because I planned on using her for TOA all through this whole 1 to 100, and I told you guys I'm currently stuck on 90, and I'll go over that in a second. So I also use her on my Giants team, another good reason to make her level 40, and she was one of the units that tended to die last reset of TOA, so it helps if she has more HP and more defense, and her abilities do a little bit more damage. I also upgraded my Sky Tribe Totem, which increases my speed, more turns. You guys know that whole thing. And the reason I'm stuck on 90 is because I'm working on double mounting Beretta right now. On this stage, he's missing 1 point in all 3 of his skills, and I'm going to get a double mount from this stage, and you guys will see what it's going to go into. So I'm waiting until Monday to attempt 90 again, and I think it will be very easy on Monday because of the Sky Tribe Totem, and Beretta is going to be fully double mount on Monday. So I think that's all of the upgrades that I made. Oh, okay, so I guess I'll tell you what the Devilmon goes into, but it goes into his first skill, so the Devilmon I got from the Rainbowmon event goes into his second skill, and right now he's only missing the third skill to be completely skilled up. So that kind of sucks, but instead of seeing it as a bad thing and complaining, I see it as a good thing. Just having that little bit more damage on the first skill isn't a bad thing. Yeah, the Devilmon could have went into better skills, and then I could have probably started Devilmoning Velajul or, I don't know, something else. So, you know, it's sort of bad, but not all that bad. So if you guys are struggling, try to make these small improvements. Also, runes are a huge factor. I'm always constantly farming runes, like not every day, but it's always in my mind whenever I'm not leveling fodder or progressing in TOA, or not really progressing, but doing TOA. I'm always trying to farm runes. I can currently do GB10 on auto, DB9 on auto, and I'm working on a DB10 team right now. Also, you guys probably noticed that the main boss levels aren't affected by dots, like they just don't take any dots. Another reason why Beretta's first skill isn't the worst thing. You're not supposed to build Beretta with attack anyways, but just that little bit more is not too bad. So that's pretty much it for the whole video and the strategy and stuff like that. I'll speed it down so you guys can see the terrible, terrible luck. So that's about it. One more thing, next video, TOA 80, is going to be like the same quality. TOA kind of gets laggy sometimes, like FPS lag, but every video from then on is going to be recorded on the MacBook, and the quality is like godlike, and the FPS is godlike, so look forward to that. I'm super excited. And that's it for this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.